Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers.
Hi guys, welcome back to another very special episode. And today with me on the show is Lisa Ondevilla, who is a success coach. She holds her own podcast that is specifically, designed to help women who are introverted and people who wants to be online. And today we're going to be talking about how to get started with your marketing online if you are thinking about getting started. I know we've got so many resources on that topic, but I always want to bring something new. So if you want to know something new, I'm sure Mona Lisa is going to be sharing some of her strategies that she has used over the years. Mona Lisa, thank you so much for joining us here on the show.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, I was blessed when my assistant brought your profile to me, and I was looking at some of your beliefs in the universe, being guided, all that, and I thought we're going to have a great time because this is something I believe in, that we are here on Earth, and even when you're doing business, it's not by accident. There is something driving us somewhere. We may not be able to pinpoint what it is, but there is some greater power out there. And you believe in the same thing, Mona Lisa, and I love that.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like, especially as entrepreneurs, when we're showing up, there's this magic that we can't necessarily pinpoint, like you said, but it's definitely there guiding us every step of the way.
Incredible. Now, for my viewers who want to know more about you, please let us in. Who is Mona Lisa and what you're about?
Yes, so I have the pleasure of serving introverted and intuitive women who are looking to break into the online marketing world, and they want to serve their own tribe of, there are life coaches, they are therapists, they're counselors, they are nutritionists, trainers. They're people who also want to serve and give back. They just maybe don't know how to, especially because so much of what's online is either overwhelming or just not resonating with them.
Yes, talk of overwhelming. Like right now, it's absolutely crazy the amount of adverts and a lot of people are putting out, and they need trusted people.
Yes, exactly.
So, how did you end up in this line of work, Mona Lisa? Because you studied journalism previously.
Yeah. So I had no plan to be a coach. I had no plan to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be this glamorous writer in New York City. I had studied to do that. My background is in interpersonal communication. And so I really found coaching as an accident. I went through in New York and I did the things to be a writer. And that didn't particularly resonate with me. I was there and I was just out of college. And that lifestyle as an introverted woman, it just wasn't for me, right? And I didn't discover that until I got there. And luckily, I had a friend tell me, she's like, there's this coach who you might be into. And so I started following Gabby Bernstein, who really opened my eyes to the world of coaching. Yeah. And from there, I found my way.
Awesome. And why introverted women? There's so many people you could be serving. How were you gravitated to that?
Yeah. It's because as an introverted woman myself, there was so much out there that wasn't resonating with me. There were ways I was being told to show up that wasn't resonating because I feel so much out there is more geared towards an extrovert. And so I wasn't finding very much that related to me and my energy and didn't feel sustainable. A lot of it was burning me out. A lot of it turned me off to the idea of being an entrepreneur. So in finding my own way with that, I thought there's got to be others out there who are wondering the same thing.
Yes. Yeah. I love that because, if you can serve yourself, if you can find a way of, solving your own problems, you are better positioned to help others in your shoes who are looking for the same solution.
Yes, 100%.
So tell me, after you discovered about coaching, did you then go into some formal education to be what you're doing right now? Tell us more around that.
Yeah. So I did a coach training program with a coach that I had followed, and he had his own certification program. So I went through that. And then after that sort of more formal piece, I really just sponged up and soaked up personal development books, business books. I did B school with Marie Forleo. That seems like a lot of people gravitate towards with her and her work in online marketing.
Yeah.
So I just dove in, right? Like I got the foundational elements of what a coaching business is, what it means to coach. And then from there, I just read everything about it. I became really obsessed with the topic of coaching as well as business.
Yes, you became a student, which is one of the things I find among many entrepreneurs really that excel. They become students of whatever it is they want to do. And
Yes.
here you are out there helping other women, in this area. I know you've got some great testimonies. Would you just share one or two things that has come out of the practice, you helping people out?
Yeah, what I find the most valuable that clients that I work with come out of after coaching is they see that they can truly create a business based on who they are, right? Based on what fills them up as opposed to having it drain them. So they're like, okay, there's a structure that I can follow that will give me leads, that will give me clients, and doesn't require me to do these things that feel and at the end of the day will make me feel like I hate my business. And so it's really empowering for them to realize that. I think also, really finding clients and figuring out how to find clients online. It doesn't have to be such a hard topic, right? But it can be very mystifying when you don't know how. So, my clients find their own clients and they build their own full-time coaching practices, which is really what they want. They're able to serve their tribe globally. And that's my favorite thing, allowing them to do their work and spread the word.
Absolutely, and work on their terms, which
Yes.
is, which is a bigger one for us.
We all want freedom.
Absolutely, and I'm grateful that you are out there helping people who need that, because sometimes there are people who are too loud, or
Right.
that's who they are really. They just
Right.
themselves.
Exactly.
And we are not all like that. But we still can serve people, can't we? We can still provide value on the marketplace, which is amazing. Let's dive into help some listeners here that, they know they've got to be on the online market or online, whatever that is, but they just don't know where to start. If you were to sit down with that person, Mona Lisa, who you say, I've got a message to put out there. Where do I start?
Yeah. So I would say that the first thing is to really become obsessed with your topic. We talked about obsession, right? Have it be something that you will naturally gravitate towards, that you would do whether or not you're going to get paid to do it. And you hear that over and over, but it's important because there are so many ups and downs to entrepreneurship. And if it's a topic that you don't love and it's something that you're doing just because you think it's a niche that might work, that's not going to work, because it's going to have to be something that you're going to come back to and it's going to light you up. So really become obsessed with your topic and with your tribe. That's a big thing that I talk about. You want to love up your people. I'm always asking myself the question, how can I serve my person? How do I serve my ideal client? That's a lifeline throughout my whole business. I'm always asking, because they are so important to me and what this company is about.
That's a big one, really, because people have this ability of knowing when you are not, when you don't care about.
Yes. Yeah. It's huge.
Yeah, you can go viral, and but soon you lose everybody if you don't care about your tribe or the people you're following. You mentioned about being obsessed with. There are so many ways of pursuing your goal or become very obsessed. Are there any tools or what can people do to get more out of it?
Well, it depends. Everybody has a different way that they like learning. And I think that's what you have to discover in yourself. Do you like learning via reading a ton of books? Do you want to read 20 topics on a book? Go that route. Or do you like maybe taking courses and diving in that way? Or do you like going to things? Well, now there's not in person, but really diving into, say, for example, a Tony Robbins workshop. Do you really like learning in that way and going to workshops? Or do you like a little bit of everything? So it comes back to understanding how you like to learn and then leaning into that.
Right. Amazing. And talking of Tony Robbins, I was at his event just this last month, the KGB one and the UPW both in 1 month, which was crazy.
Amazing. Yeah, I went to that one live. It was with the Walking on Fire and everything, and he is something else. I absolutely love Tony Robbins.
Yes, we do here. I'm sidetracking here right now, but people know that I love Tony. I first went to his event in 2013 and truly changed my business. And I've been, being part of the team, that served on there. So that's what I was doing at the end of October, which was amazing.
Awesome. So fun.
Let's talk about, after somebody is very clear on what they want to do and they're really obsessed with the topic, learning everything that they can about their topic, what can they do now to be visible, perhaps, to be online?
So I would say the first thing is having a brand that you feel confident in, because a lot of people come to me at first and they have no idea what their brand looks like. And so that stops a lot of people. So get clear on your brand and what that looks like, how you want to show up online, how you can authentically represent yourself online, right? And like that comes down to, not this idea of perfectionism, not this idea of it has to look a certain way, but really making it your own. And so I can give a specific example. Something that I teach in my own course is called the brand buckets, right? And so the brand buckets, I say to have about 3 to 5 brand buckets. And these are things that you can pick that are topics that you're going to talk about kind of over and over again. So for example, I have introversion, intuition, business, spirituality. And I also talk about I also say have like a quirky personality bucket. So I talk about I love Disneyland and I love Star Wars and I love Harry Potter. So like the fantasy, it brings a certain element of your personality into it. Yeah. So have a quirky brand
bucket. Yes. That's good. I tell you what I do for my part. It really is being in a position to pivot when you've got a brand that's got all these facets. If one side of your brand becomes popular, you can focus on it. And you can build on another one is supporting. But I love that idea. Sorry, I interrupted you there, Mona Lisa.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last question.
You there.
What?
I interrupted you on the last one.
Oh, yeah. No worries. I mean, I think brand buckets, they're just because people start out and they have no idea what to talk about. They're like, do I talk about what I ate for dinner? Do I talk about there's so many things. And when you can keep it clean and easy, you can choose. So you'll know, yes, I post about this. No, I don't post about this. It becomes very clear and you have boundaries around it. And like you said, I love how you said you can pivot and focus on certain areas when you're maybe more excited about them.
Yes. Yeah. For those maybe who are struggling with this, are there any tools or any resources you're able to point them to?
Yeah. So I actually have a free 5-day challenge called the Build Your Heart-Centered Brand Challenge. Oh. And that I walk you through 5 days of how to set up your brand. And Brand Buckets is one of the days, but it's a really cool program. I've had thousands of people go through it and have created amazing brands. So check it out.
Yeah, awesome. And this is accessible on your website, I'm assuming?
Yes, it is.
Brilliant. Okay. Awesome. And we've got the brand sorted out. We know what we're going to be talking about. We know how we want to come across. What is the next step?
Yes. So the next step is then it goes, well, how are you going to find leads, right? So you have your brand, you have the passion, and then it's how do I actually find leads? How do I actually get clients? How do I generate income doing this? So I would say that you've got to find a structure that works for you. And this is where it comes back to knowing yourself and how you want to work. There are people who would like to have a massive team behind what they do. Do you want to have a massive team? Do you want to have a smaller team? Do you want to have things mostly be automated? Do you want to have things not be automated? Do you want to launch all of the time? So asking yourself what your business looks and feels like is really important, because then that can inform what kind of structure you have. So you have to find a structure, because I like to say there's so much information out there because everything works. Like it's worked for some person, and that's why they're all talking about it, right? But it's about finding the person and finding a strategy that works for you, and you see the person who you're modeling your structure off of, that you actually like their lifestyle and the way that their business looks. So you don't want to just be running around and doing everything that someone says works, because it might not work for you.
Yeah, amazing. I wish somebody had told me this right when I was getting started, Mona Lisa, because I went to the internet marketing seminars when I was getting started. I don't know, you probably remember this, when they had the multi-speaker events.
Yes, I've been to those.
So I ended up buying everything.
Yep.
Because the guys were very good at selling from the stage. I do, by the way.
I remember those.
Blaming that, but what happened at the time is all their systems worked, but not all of them were suited to me. So I ended up spending a lot of money, and I had met you and said, hang on a minute, before you spend all this money, figure out what works for you and go with it.
Like, do you want to speak from the stage? And some people do, and that's awesome, but you really have to know, what is it that I want at the end of the day?
Yes. Yeah. Amazing. So really know exactly what works with you. And sometimes it's a journey to figure out what works with you. And I don't know, how have you discovered what works for you, Mona?
Because I had to figure out all the things that did not work. I had to wade through all of this. Just like you, I went to those speaker events and I purchased all of the things. And I eventually realized I had to step away from my business for a little bit. And I had to go back into the 9 to 5, because I was just getting flooded with all this information and not actually getting any income from it, because I was just collecting all of the data and how to have a business and all of that. But when I started looking at it through the lens of being an introverted woman, being an introverted and intuitive woman, and layering on aspects of my personality, I was able to then have a bird's eye view of what would work for me. And it was a lot of what didn't work for me. It was a lot of going in and networking and going to like a million networking events every single day, and then being burned out and feeling like that didn't work. So it was a lot of not doing things that didn't feel good.
Yeah. One of the things I've discovered, Mona Lisa, really that helped me was I hired a coach immediately. I think,
Yes.
And my coach said, okay, let's look at your goals. What do you really want? So I said, I want to work from home. I want literal interaction with people. Involuntary interaction, like people demand. I want to interact with people when I want to, not because I have no choice. So I listed down all the things that I wanted. Not that there's anything wrong with interacting with people. It just wasn't me. And
on your own terms.
Yes, exactly. So I listed all that. I'm sure people will resonate with this. And at the end of it, we had to look for a model that best suits what I wanted at the time. Oh, I cannot tell you the relief I got from that. It was amazing, truly. And and I know it will help somebody. So get a coach.
Yes.
Or maybe listen to the podcast like these.
Yeah, surround yourself with that mindset of, how do I want to feel? How do I want it to look? And let that be your guide.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And masterminds too were great for me. I don't know if you have an experience with those as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay, we've got the brand. We have defined the structure. What's next, Mona Lisa?
Yes. So I would say, as you're taking action on your structure, let it evolve. And this is the point in which, if you get too sturdy and strict on, okay, I created this whole funnel with this, the free gift and the opt-in and my program and all that. If you get too attached to it and it's not working, like, that's not going to work. You're going to have to learn how to let things go, and you're going to have to learn how to grow. So really being persistent and resilient, that's what an entrepreneur is. You got to be like, you know what? This isn't resonating. The market isn't taking this. I'm going to have to find something else. And so it's about letting yourself evolve, letting your message evolve after putting it out there. And also, I would say in this particular area, when you're already putting things out there and seeing what sticks, I would say this is where it gets important not to compare yourself and look around to everybody else, because this is when you can start to say, oh, well, that coach is doing this and that coach is doing that, and I should be further along. And then it can start to feel really icky. And I don't know if you've experienced that, but I know I've experienced that. A lot of my clients have experienced that when they're at this phase. So try to like keep your eyes on your own lane, you know?
Oh, yeah, it's so important because this is your own race.
Yes.
And if you take your eyes off your race, you're going to be very slow, because the moment you look at somebody else, it affects all other areas that will slow you down.
Yes.
It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. I love what you said about let it evolve. Would you explain a little bit more on that?
Yeah. So, for example, one of the first things that I help my clients with is figuring out, well, first it's ideal client, and then it's figuring out ideal client, which is niche, right? It's interchangeable or niche. And so after that, it's creating a free gift that you can then put out. You can run ads to it. You can do organic traffic and see what your conversion rate is for that. For example, if you've put out a free gift and it's not converting well, I like to have my conversions at 40% and above for my landing page. And if it's not that, I'll be like, okay, something about this isn't working. It's not sticking. And so if someone said, and I've been this person before, right? So I can speak from the experience of, if you're just like, well, I really, really, really want this to work and I'm going to keep putting it out there, and you're a little stubborn about that, it's like you're not letting your business evolve. That's the definition of not letting it evolve, you know? And so be willing to pivot, really.
Yes. Yeah. It is amazing. My experience, with running business online, oftentimes is not exactly what I thought would make me money. That actually makes me money. I'll give you an example. When I started this podcast, at first it was all about let's get the exposure going. What I then discovered quickly it was more about the people I'm connecting with, who eventually connect me with the people come up with amazing deals. We've done some amazing deals along the years. Of course we've got the exposure, but there is some things that you don't
plan for.
Yes, that comes your way. So you've got to be prepared to say, okay, I'll go this way, see what works, and implement in your business. That's how business works. That's how it's worked for me, and I know for a lot of people. So I don't know, any thoughts about that before we talk about it?
I mean, I didn't set out to say I'm going to lead the introverted intuitive woman in the online marketing space. That's not what I thought I was going to do. I eventually got there, and I absolutely love what I do. But I didn't think that I would be this example for so many people who look to my business and say, and I hear this all the time with my clients, like, I'm so thrilled that you are showing up, because then it allows me to do that. I did not have any idea I would go that route. So it's beautiful when your business has a life of its own, going back to that magic.
Yeah. And this is really something that I think the universe leads you, or God, leads you. You just have to be open to it, and really go with the flow. See what happens. As long as you stay, your goal. The ways to get to that goal may change, but you don't necessarily have to change your goal.
Yes, so well said.
Amazing. And perhaps one more thing that they need to do to get it done online.
Yes. So I would say after all of that, the last thing to do is really just trust. Like, this is where the universe comes in. I talk about both business structures and the funnels and ads, and I also talk about the universe and or God and trusting your higher power, your higher source, and your guides. So just trust and sit in that energy of holding the vision of what you really want. I would always One of the things I did in the very early days when I wasn't getting traction, but I knew that success was going to eventually I was eventually going to be successful. I would always sit and just imagine the future version of me. How did she walk in the world, right? What did she do? How did she spend her time? What was her energy like? And really pulling in that future version of me into my own life, even if that wasn't the life I was living yet. And this is where manifesting comes in. This is where magic comes in. This is where really energizing and attracting your business comes in. So you've done all of the things. Now you sit back and you allow yourself to co-create with the universe and your creator.
Amazing, because really there is there is something to it. When I came into business, this me being open with you, I never thought that there was anything out there. I thought you have to work very hard. If you don't work very hard, it's not going to happen. But
Yep.
when
I had the same thing.
And then you have this light bulb moment that okay, there is something I have to calm down and be in tune with what it is.
Yeah. Well, I love that. There's a point in my business where I was implementing that hard work all the time. And it worked to a certain extent. And then I burned myself out and then my business tanked. So I'm just glad that it didn't work out for that long that way. And I had to go back to what was fundamentally important to me, which is my connection to the universe, my connection to my creator.
Yes. Yeah, because if you don't have that, gosh, it's a hard, long journey there. That. And I remember even talking to one of the guys who came to my event last time. Asking me about this because they were thinking, okay, is this really, or you are in the woo-woo thing? And I said, look. There's only one way for you to figure out. Why don't you try it and see it works for you? If it doesn't, of course, put it on the shelf and carry on the way you want. But this has worked for me and many people. We've had on the show that just trust and go with the flow. Believe that all things are working for you, not necessarily against you, but every step of the way things will work out very well.
Yes. Underlining all of that. I love that.
Absolutely. We are coming toward the end of our time together here, Mona Lisa. But, for those who wants to carry on learning with you, where can they find you?
So Lisa Ondevilla.com is my website. You can find the Build Your Heart-Centered Brand 5-day challenge on there. I love Instagram. I'm a big Instagram follower and learner on there. I've always loved the platform. So my Instagram is also Lisa Ondevilla. You can find me there. I have IGTV and my podcast you can also find on my Instagram.
Awesome. I love your podcast. I've seen that you've done quite a few podcasts there, which is amazing. And for those who want to learn more about this topic and many other topics that business owners want to talk about, you can just check out the podcast. Where is the podcast, by the way?
It's currently on Apple. And so we're actually figuring out how to move that all over to Spotify and Apple Music and etc. So that's our project for January. But for now, we're on Apple Podcasts. Also on my website, we have the audio streaming from there. Beautiful.
Awesome. Let's talk about final thoughts. People are having a hard time right now, because of, what's going on in the world. You are a business owner just like them. It would be nice to hear from another business owner to another. What can you do, or what are you doing to keep going?
Yes. It really comes back down to passion for my tribe. That might sound so simple, but it's really powerful at the end of the day, because I truly, truly care about the people that I serve, the people who end up somehow in my community who find my work. And so it comes down to the passion. Let that guide you. And also, there's so much that has happened in this world. And so I think right now is a wonderful opportunity for all of us to say, like, and learn from the contrast. One of my teachers, Abraham Hicks, always talks about the contrast and learning from what we want from what we don't want. And so if any of that has come up for you, things that you don't want, a lot of things that don't feel really good or look really good in your life happening, how can you find what you want from that? I think that that's always a journey, especially as a coach, figuring out, what you've learned as a result of what has happened that you don't want in your life.
Awesome. Awesome. Anything else that I have not asked you that you feel will be the last thing you want to leave my listeners with?
Have fun. I would just say have fun on this journey. If you're called to being an entrepreneur, it is a crazy ride, but so worth it and so fun, especially if you want freedom and you want to do something that you're really passionate about. So have fun and stick with it.
Absolutely. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mona Lisa Ondevilla sharing with us her knowledge and experience in this area. So if you have got any questions, reach out. There will be a link at the bottom of this audio that you can connect with Mona Lisa. Alternatively, just reach out to the community over there, LinkedIn, and we'll be delighted to support you. Mona Lisa, thank you so much for being here with me today, and want to wish you very success in your next endeavor.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.